Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Dina. This is my channel about cross stitch and today is October 29th. I am here to share with you a finish. I worked on this piece while at retreat and then I came home and I worked on it on the way home just for about a couple of hours, but I knew I was getting close to a finish. So I came home and I stitched on it for 2 or 3 days, just the little bit of time that I had available once I got home because we had a lot of things going on. We had a huge trunk or treat at our church that my husband and I were involved in, and that was lots of fun. But today, while I was stitching with my friend Glow, I was able to finish this. So I am talking about Long May She Wave from Fancy That. And I think I'm going to try to finish it very similarly to how it's finished here. I've got to go in search of a bell that's that size or similar to that and figure out how, if I'm going to put it on a little dowel or if I'm going to put it on a hanger or just what. But for now, the stitching, the placing of the buttons, and the side trim, they're all done. So here is my Long May She Wave from Fancy That. And I think it is a really cute bell pull. I will make it a point at the bottom. So I want to tell you a little bit about it. This was an easy stitch. It wasn't hard, and each little motif you kind of felt like you had a small finish. I ordered the buttons. The button pack I couldn't find, but I found the heart that was called for from just another button company. And I found the blue star that goes right here. There's a blue star in the middle of that one to add dimension to it. The white star on that heart I found the red bird that's called for. I did not find a house. I did not find the drum. So there was a house button that was put right here where the birdhouse is. There was a little house button that was on the one on the pattern, and so I had to stitch what was called for in the stitching. Each one of these areas had the stitching charted. Like this was a drum button and I didn't have that, so I had to actually stitch the drum. So I did find the watermelon button. Now the star buttons, when I ordered my buttons from just another button company, I found a little pack that was entitled the Beatitudes July, and that's where I found the watermelon and the heart and all that in there, but it didn't have the blue buttons that are called for, as you can see on the pattern by the words. So, but it did have in it 2 small red buttons, and since the word in the middle is in red, I just went ahead and put those on there, and so made it work. And finished it off today. Did my trim stitching while I was talking with my friend. And so now it's ready to be fully finished. And I have another finish for the month of October. I'm real excited about that. So now I'm going to post that in my Stitch from Stash and then bite the bullet and put in there my expenses from my shopping trip and see if I have any money left at all. But otherwise, you know, it was well worth it, even if I don't. I think I have enough, but we'll see. I'll let you go for now. I'm hoping to do a stitching meetup tomorrow with a group that is headed up by a good friend of mine named Carolyn. And it's to work on Hawk Run Hollow. And since I've now started a Hawk Run Hollow, I could do that. I can go with them and stitch. So I've got to get my bag ready to take with me. And then once I do that, my plan is to pick up another piece that's close to a finish and see if I can't eke out just one more finish this month. I'd love to do that before I start doing a lot of Christmas stitching and birthday stitching in December that we've already talked about. So I may remind you about that as I speak with you in the next couple of clips. But in the meantime, happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is Saturday, October the 30th, and I have a very brief update to share with you today. At the recent retreat, I had a new start, and it was spring at Hawk Run Hollow. And so I was tickled to death that this Saturday, today, was the day that our Georgia group gets together, those that are stitching a Hawk Run Hollow. They have a stitching meetup, and everyone brings their Hawk Run Hollow piece, and they work on it. Some of them, that's the only time they work on it. Others, they've completed one or two, and they're working on their third one. I think they've been going about 2 to 3 years. I'm not quite sure. But when they first got started, I didn't have a Hawk Run Hollow going, and I didn't have one on the horizon. And so I didn't get to join the group because the whole nature of it was to stitch a Hawk Run Hollow. So with my new start, I had a Hawk Run Hollow to share, and I could go and stitch with that group of stitchers. So today, I went to the Hawk Run Hollow gathering, and I took my spring at Hawk Run Hollow with me. At the retreat, I started the top border, and I actually stitched the outer stitching around that little top border. It was 401 stitches, I think, something like that. So today, that's where I started, and this is how far I got. Not terribly far, but 238 stitches in the little bird's nest up there. That's the limb that it's sitting on, and this is part of the nest. So I did get a little bit of work done. I spent a little bit of time meeting everybody and getting to know people, getting to know kind of what they like to do there, and went ahead and just worked on it as much as I could in the time that we had. It's just part of a day that we get together. So that was great, great fun. I even have my thread still hanging, my park thread from today. Notice this is on a large Q-snap, but I'm hoping to get my fabric, my raw edges stitched up. See how it's already starting to unravel? And get this on a roller frame as soon as possible. But I've got to unpack my sewing machine in order to do that. So that might be something that I work on either tomorrow or next week sometime. So there's one day left in October. I was trying to decide today what I wanted to do with that one day. I looked at my Hello Winter in hopes that I had it close enough to finish it tomorrow. I don't know that I do. I think it might take a couple of days. But if I work on it tomorrow, I for sure would be able to finish it on November 1st, which I think might be fun to start the month off with a finish. So my first plan is to probably stitch on Hello Winter tomorrow with the time that I have available to do that. My second option was to pull out my Crystal Christmas because it was one of my called Whip Go projects, and go ahead and start stitching on it because I have to do 10 hours on it for my Whip Go goal. So I may do that. Those are the two things I'm considering. I'll let you know. In the meantime, I wanted to share with you just a brief bit of planning that I did. I was talking with my friend Donna when we were at the retreat, and one of the things we talked about is how much I have enjoyed doing the acrostics for the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch group. And so Donna said she would really like to do that. And so I went ahead and printed off my November acrostic to start planning on it. And I took Donna a copy of it today, a blank one, so that she could do that. So I just wanted to let you know that I have planned out my November acrostic. And I am doing the one, it says, do you keep track of how many stitches you're making or track how many minutes you're spend stitching? And I put counting stitches because a lot of the prompts I do ask me to count stitches. And so that's kind of how I've started doing mine. Now, I have picked a separate whip for every one of the letters in count stitches. And I'm hoping that I can get each of them stitched on in the month. I did finish my October acrostic while I was at retreat. Everything I stitched was able to help me complete that acrostic. Hadn't planned it that way. I actually had to change a couple of the acrostics, what they stood for, the letters in the acrostic rather, so that it could help me finish it. But I was able to find something for 4 remaining letters that I stitched on at the retreat, and I was able to finish it up when I got home. So that was fabulous. So that's one of the things that I hope to be doing in November, is touching all of these whips. If I get to a point where I'm near the end of the month and I'm not going to get to touch the whip that I have left, I tend to see if there's something else that I'm working on that I can use to meet the letter, because I try to finish the acrostic every month. And I have so far this year. It's been fun. Happy stitching, everybody. Good night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dina, and this is my channel about cross stitch. And today is November 3rd, and I am tickled to death to be able to bring you a stitching report. I haven't filmed anything in the month of November, I don't think, not yet. Anyway, here it is. I've been working for the last 3 days in the time that I had each day on Hello Winter. I did a good bit of this at the retreat, and probably had I stitched on it solely at the retreat, I could have had a finish. Because once I got home, the little bit that I got to stitch every day, I kept it out on my floor stand, and I'd just sit down and stitch for 30 minutes if that's all I had, and in some cases that's all I had. I didn't get more than a couple hundred stitches in the first 2 days, but today, because I had done that twice, I was able to sit down this morning and stitch, and then back this afternoon and stitch, and then tonight after choir practice, I finished it up. So here is my Hello Winter. This fabric, I had hoped it would be pretty, and I do think it is. I want to thank one of my viewers for giving me the proper pronunciation for this. It's spelled C-E-R-I-D-W-E-N, and I was pronouncing it Ceridwin or something. No, it's Carriewin. So anyway, thanks for letting me know that's how you say it. It's from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. This was just a fat quarter that I bought to see if I liked the color. And for Christmas, it's beautiful. It really is pretty. I recommend it if you want to try it. Anyway, I did mine in a combination of the called for Weeks Dye Works, and when I didn't have the Weeks Dye Works, I used the DMC. So if you want to know, this includes Oscar, which is a green, charcoal, which is what the stem and the lettering is in, and grits, which is the off-white that the snow and the lamb are done in. The rest of it are DMC. So this is the combination of the 2 types of threads. If you look at the picture, and of course it doesn't always do it justice, that looks a little redder, brighter there with the overdyes. But I like mine just fine. I think it's beautiful. So anyway, I'm thrilled that this one's done. I'm going to press it in the morning, take it with me. I have some appointments tomorrow. One is going to be great fun. I'm going to lunch to celebrate a friend's birthday. And so we're having a girls' lunch. There will be 4 of us there. And I think we will have just a great time. Um, so while I'm out and about, I'm going to take this with me and see if they don't have a pretty little frame that might fit it at Hobby Lobby. I always go there when I'm going to try to do a ready-made frame. And then if I can't find the ready-made frame, then I go to the back and, let them do it for me. But hopefully I'll get it put in there. I have taken Sleepy Hollow to Michael's because they were having a sale on some of their framing, and I wanted to take advantage of that. And they do have a better selection here of frame materials. I've just about exhausted the framing at Hobby Lobby. I'll start repeating myself if I keep going back there. So hopefully they'll get some new things. But the piece that I picked out for Sleepy Hollow was brand new. It was a new molding they had just gotten in. And so that was exciting. I can't wait to show it to you. All right, so that's my stitching for now. I want to talk to you a little bit about some plans for November, since it is in the month of November. I'm part of Stitch from Stash, and so I went tonight and put in my recap for the month, which we have to do. We have to go in and put in our budget and what we spent, and then we record our finishes and we get credit for those. So you have to do your budget reporting at the end of every month. And I put that in tonight, and guess what I discovered? I had 5 finishes in the month of October. 5. I was so excited. 3 of them were small. They were ornaments. And none of those 3 were in my whips. But 2 of my finishes were. One was Sleepy Hollow, and the other was, what was the other one? Long May She Wave. Took me a minute, sorry. Long May She Wave. So that prompted me to pull out my cards that I write all my whip projects on when I start them. And here's the one I just pulled for Hello Winter. There you go. Basically, it has the information of the name of the project, the fabric, the designer, then the fabric, the date I start, and then today I'll put the finish on there. And I keep those. I use them quite often. I use them when people ask me what fabric I used, or if they ask in a prompt to stitch on your oldest whip. Well, this has the start date on it, so it's easy enough just to look at the dates real quick, and that tells me what my oldest whip at the moment, is when I have to do that prompt. So I went and counted up, and I have 13 active whips with the finish of Hello Winter. So that's not too bad, and I still have the month of November to work too. So I don't know that I might be able to have another finish in the month of November. I just had one, which I'm really happy about, but it was the closest one to a finish. So that I just kept pushing on it this week until I got there. So that was exciting. So here are my plans. I'm going to take a step back in the month of November, and I am going to look at my whip go board. I've got at least one square that was called this month that I need to stitch on, and I need to finish that. I want to get it done this month, so I'm through with it. And then there'll be one square that I won't finish, and that will be Mermaid, because I just don't think I can finish half of that border unless I worked on it and nothing else the whole month of November, and I just don't want to do that. It's not the one I want to push to a finish in the month of November, because it wouldn't get finished even by doing that. So I would like to pull out all my whips, all 13, and either set goals on each of them for the month, because I won't get to touch most of them in December with all of my birthday start and my Sunday starts. So November is going to be the time I get to work on them, probably for the last time until the new year. So I would like to sit down and just look at them and decide if I'm going to do goals for each one or if I'm going to do a push on a finish. Maybe on one of them. Just got to see how close I am to a finish on anything. So we'll go from there. That's how I finished Long May She Wave, and how I finished the Hello Winter when I did, is that I used them for prompts. Even if I had to do alternative stitches, which means you do an extra 100 stitches to use something that doesn't fit. But if you do that, say on a given week, and you've got 5 prompts, and you have to stitch 200 stitches for every prompt. If you do alternative stitches, you're doing 300. But if you do it on that same project, think of how many stitches you get in on that project. And I did that on Hello Winter, and did a couple of penalty stitches on it. Plus I took it with me to the retreat. I stitched on it a whole day at the retreat. So I just put extra time in it. I just put it ahead of other things because it was getting close to a finish, and I thought if it goes quick enough, I'll get it finished. I hoped to have finished it in October, but it didn't happen. I didn't get enough stitching. I didn't get enough stitching time in October. There was a bit of travel going to a retreat, and then there were catch-up work at home and projects and that sort of thing. One of which was a wrap-up to our big fundraising event. I promised to come back and tell you how we did. Our bake shop that did took the role of covering for the whole Emporium this year made a record amount, more than they've ever made before. They brought in $13,000 on their own, selling those wonderful made from scratch items. And then our missions committee at church knew we were in a bind, having to cancel due to COVID, and they knew that we had helped out at the Learning Center to get those rooms renovated before the children had to come back, and that because of the timing of it, the Learning Center YMCA group had stuck their neck out and had borrowed the money from their own self, moved it out of other accounts that would suffer if they didn't get to put it back. So our missions committee at our church decided they wanted to donate enough to cover the materials so that it didn't matter how much we made at the Emporium, that anything over that would be for future projects at the daycare, because they still need to renovate their entrance and make it safer to drop off the children, and they need to renovate their kitchen and make it functional. So I'm very excited to share with you guys. We raised $21,000 for the daycare, and I stopped by the church today and checked, and our accountant said that she had already mailed them the check. They should get it by Friday. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, that wraps up that event, and I can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. We made the presentation, informed them Sunday at our church. They were our guests, and we told them what their amount would be, and they were blown away. The last they heard was the $8,000 was coming from the missions committee. I told them that ahead of time because I didn't want them sweating over that money for those supplies. And I wasn't sure we'd make anything else, so I didn't know, but I told them we at least had enough to cover the supplies. So the last figure they heard was 8, and then they got presented with 21. So thank you, all of you who contributed, and I know some of you did. I got cards in the mail from our church letting me know that a few of you had contributed to the Emporium, and you had actually done it in, mentioning me. So thank you so much. That was just beyond anything I ever expected. So I thank you for that. Then, of course, Halloween night, Sunday evening, we had our first trick-or-treat here in our new home, and I am delighted to tell you we had 48 individual trick-or-treaters. I counted them because we have never had a lot of trick-or-treaters wherever we've been since, goodness, since my son was probably in high school. We had a few then, but not large numbers. And to have 48 was fabulous. It was fabulous. Coco did okay. She didn't like all these people coming up to her home. She was fiercely protective. And so she barked a lot. But I put a Halloween kerchief on her, and or bandana, whatever you want to call it. I call it her scarf. And I raised the blinds in the window right by the front door. So when people came up, she barked like crazy, but I had her looking out that window and told her to stay there. And she did. And so she stayed in the window in her little Halloween scarf and barked at the kids. And it was funny because a few of them who live in the neighborhood actually said, "There's Coco." So they recognized her. It was great. I'll put a picture in here of her in her Halloween scarf waiting on the trick-or-treaters. Well, I will let you get back to your stitching. That's my stitching so far this month. Pretty excited to have it finished by the 3rd of the month. So hopefully that's an indication of things to come. I hope you have a great month of stitching, and I hope I get to come back and share more stitching with you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Gina. It is Tuesday, November the 9th, and I'm here with a stitching update for you. I've been stitching for about 3 days or more on a project, but I've gotten very little stitching time in, and I kept trying to work on it for a finish, but I don't think it's going to happen this month because I want to stitch on some other things. I've got prompts that I'd like to meet and acrostics that I want to work on, and there's nothing that says I have to finish this piece this month. I had thought that it was going to go quick enough that I could. So what I'm going to do is put it away. I'm going to stitch on some other things to meet prompts. I do have some stitching opportunities with groups this month. I have our stitching meetup on Saturday coming up the end of this week, and this will be a great project to take there. And then I also have a couple of virtual stitching times with friends that I haven't seen and talked to in quite some time. Just felt the need to catch up with some friends, and so in the coming week and a half, I will be virtually stitching with 2 or 3 different groups of people. I'm hoping to get to stitch with the monthly magazine group on their Zoom session, and then there are a couple of private Zoom meetings that I'm gonna participate in. So I hope that with all of those opportunities, I might pull this back out on a couple of them. And who knows what this month might see yet for this piece. It's just really cute. It's the Lizzie Kate Dog Lessons for People. And I've been working on it, so I wanted to show you what I got to. This is mine. This is the bottom down here. There's the bottom on that side. So I've gone all the way down to the bottom on that corner. So that'll give you an idea on size. I've got quite a bit of fabric left over. So I could do something else on this, or might even save the fabric and give it away with the pattern because it'll be enough for somebody else to do this on. So here you go. I have stitched since we last, I think, recorded about this. I had stitched Avoid Biting, I believe. And in this time frame of the last few days, I completed that row. I left this blank because I'm going to use a special button for that. And then I stitched the first half of that row and then decided I would go ahead while it was in the Q-snap and on the stand, and I would just take it to the bottom. And that way I wouldn't have to keep moving it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm thinking that the next time I stitch on it, I've got two choices. I'll either go on across and finish the row like I've been doing, and then come back over and start these rows. There's two more that are going to be right here by the house. So I've got 2.5 rows left to do this piece, and I think it'll be an easy finish. Maybe still sometime this month. Who knows? But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's coming along nicely, and I really like it. So let's do some little life catch-up, I guess. I've been asked to serve on another committee at my church. We are searching for a children's minister, and I am really honored to be asked to serve as a representative from our personnel team on that committee, and we start that process this coming Sunday. We'll have a kickoff meeting for that, so that'll be fun. I think other than that, the only thing I have really on the books is a Christmas party for our Sunday school class, and I've agreed to help decorate a table with one of my classmates, and so I think that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So I think that's my biggest update for you. I've got some great Coco footage this month so far. She has just loved playing with the other dogs in our neighborhood, and there's one in particular that is fairly new to the neighborhood. His family purchased him as a little tiny puppy, little tiny black ball of fur, and now he's about 8 months old, and he's bigger than Coco. He's going to be a huge dog. He's some sort of water dog, Burmese or something, water dog. Anyway, he's precious. He looked like a Labradoodle when he was a puppy. I thought he was at first, but he and Coco love to play, and they chase each other, and then they climb all over each other, and they knock each other down, and they run and chase each other again, and then they rest. And then when they're rested, they do it all over again. Our neighbors, Loki's mom's name is Sybil. And Sybil told me yesterday that she absolutely loves it when she happens to time it for Loki to go out and play when she sees Coco walking, because Loki gets so excited when he sees Coco, and vice versa. They get so tickled about seeing each other, and they just want to romp and play, and then that's it. Coco doesn't need to walk anymore. She plays herself out. It's great. So we swapped phone numbers so that we could set up some play dates for those two, which I think is great fun. Anyway, I've got some footage of that. I've got a little bit of footage of my husband doing some training with Coco with turkey. She loves deli turkey. Whenever he makes a sandwich, she wants some. So in order to give it to her, he turns it into a training session. And I captured the tail end of one tonight, where he was having her jump from the couch to the ottoman just on command to, sit on the sofa or sit on the ottoman, just to get her in place. And she's of course doing it for the turkey. He's also using that to try to get her to stop barking at people. She's a great guard dog, and she thinks that if anyone comes into our yard, she is to alarm us immediately and continuously until they're gone. And so my husband has learned from watching some training videos that you're supposed to distract them before they start barking. So he's starting to use some training where he will take some of her favorite treats, whether it be turkey or beef lung or something like that, and he'll take her out in the yard, and he will tell her to watch him, no barking, and he'll get her engaged in eating the food and forgetting about barking about our friends and neighbors that we're welcoming, into our home. So you'll see a little bit of that too, I think. I think I got some of that. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy that. The last little piece I have of her is when my husband did the turkey tonight. With his sandwich and her training, he used up the last little bit of the turkey container, and he went to put it in the dishwasher, and before he could get there, Coco stuck her head in it, was licking it dry. And so I grabbed my camera and I got the tail end of that too. But it was just some cute moments with her here at the house, and I hope you enjoyed them. All right, I'm going to let you get back to whatever you were doing before I broke in to tell you all about my day. Happy stitching, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Hi, everyone. In actuality, it is November the 4th. Today, it is Thursday, and I have a fully finished object that I want to share with you. I'm putting it at the end of this video whenever I wrap up for this time so that I can tell my sister Stephanie to say good night, bye-bye. I will see you next time. You won't miss anything that you're supposed to see if you cut off the video now. So I'll give you a minute to say goodbye, and I'll catch you next time, sister.
Good dogs. She loves it, dogs. We're gonna have to shake you off.
He's so big and dangly right
He
now. One of these
is.
days he
He's
won't fall and roll. Look, 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 the car.
That was a good stay.
Go get him. This is on the boss. Watch this, watch this.
He hasn't grown into his legs yet. He's still a little clumsy.
He's still a clumsy teenager.
Yep. And my son grew an inch in the last 3 months.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
He is sprouting like
He's 15?
he's 14.
14? Oh, 14. Oh.
Yeah.
Turkey? Turkey girl? There you go. Shy turkey. Sit. Sit for me. It's a good girl. Can you go down? Oh, a good girl. Good down. It's just so good. Okay, let's go back and do what we did last night. That was pretty, that was lots of fun. That was fun. Okay. On the sofa. Get on the sofa. Over here. Come here. That's a good girl. Are you ready? Right, stay right there. Good girl. Are you ready? Jump over here. That's a good girl. Okay, sit right there. Alright, let's go back to the sofa. Ready? On the sofa. Over here. That's a good girl. That's all we got now. It's all gone. Oh, it's all gone. Everything. What a good girl. Get it up. Is there any more?
Any more turkey?
It's all the turkeys. All gone. Very good.
Okay. In case you're wondering, she really does cut that off. She's assured me that she does. Anyway, I want to share this with you because this year my sister Stephanie has adopted a feral cat that was a kitten, and she had been just putting food out for a whole litter of feral kittens, but this one kept coming up to her and wanting her to pick it up and love on it, and it just didn't seem to want to be a feral cat. And so she just talked to her husband about it, and they decided they would add the kitten to their family if it so desired to do that. And she went out and bought all the necessary supplies because she has a puppy dog. She doesn't have a kitten until now. And she wound up going to feed the cats one Friday night and had already determined now that she had all of her supplies. She was going to bring the little kitten home with her if he wanted to come. And she didn't see him. And she thought maybe something had happened to him. And when she got through feeding the kittens and the mama under her front porch, she went around into the garage to go back in the house. And guess who was sitting at the door waiting to go in with her? Yep, you guessed it, the little kitten. He had decided Friday night sounded like a good night for him to go in there too. So Topaz is what she named her kitten, and he is a beautiful orange tabby, and he has topaz yellow eyes. And so when I saw this little Christmas ornament, I had to stitch it, and I shared that with you, but I wanted to explain a little bit about my finishing. I've got a beautiful gold brocade here because there's gold in here, and there's gold beads on the tree, and then there's gold in this backing fabric. This backing fabric I have used for Christmas ornaments for every member of my sister's family. So her mom, her dad, her sister and brother, and all of their spouses and children, I have cross-stitched her an ornament to represent each and every one of them. And last year, I think, or the year before, I did the little black poodle outline for her precious little puppy that she wound up taking from her niece who couldn't keep it because she was teaching all day, and Ellis just couldn't adapt to being in a crate. So my sister took him, and he's now been her baby for several, I guess 2 or 3 years now. And then she adopted Topaz. So Topaz needed an ornament too because he's now part of the family. I think she'll enjoy this. I think she'll like it. I hope so anyway. Vanna, I hope you're okay with my finish here. I tried to put it in the shape of a tree since it's supposed to be an ornament of a cat tree. And in fact, that's the name of the pattern, Christmas Cat Tree. Bitter Cup Designs, I think is the name of it. Anyway, this is the finished product. I have to get it packaged and in the mail in the next week or two because sometimes it takes up to 2 weeks for packages to get to my sister. And with the mail the way it is, I don't want to give it a chance to not get there in time. We always pick a day and open Christmas together on the phone since we can't be together in person. So I'm hoping that she will enjoy her new ornament. It says Topaz right there in case you can't read it. So I'm pleased with how it came out. I'm really, really pleased, and I'm really happy I found some more of this in my stash so that they all match. Anyway, can you tell I'm in the mood for Christmas? This certainly put me in the mood finishing this today. So I'll let you get back to your stitching. Thanks for letting me share it with you. And that will be the end of this video. Happy stitching, everybody.